The third category under social presence is group cohesion or cohesion. And some of the elements I think that go toward building a sense of group cohesion would be having students be comfortable disagreeing with their classmates and building an environment in which that's modeled and in which that is supported and scaffolded in some way. And this goes back to reinforcing the sense of trust. You really, before you can disagree with somebody, you have to have trust, number one, that that's okay in that environment, that it's okay with your instructor, that it's okay with the other students. And so in order to do this, you sort of have to set the environment with some rules, some ground rules. And there are lots of ways to do this. You can, have a list of sort of rules of interaction. You can have students co-create that list with you. So you come up with sort of a skeletal structure of the things that you want to make sure are in there, but then open it up for conversation with the students and have them contribute to that list of what's okay. And you have to model it. So you have to say it explicitly. Again, you can never, say anything too explicitly in an online course. It's like almost being over explicit about things. So if your expectation is that the students are going to challenge each other, that they can have their opinions and be respectful of each other, but you want them to challenge each other on, either, how they're applying something or how they're refuting something or how they're interpreting something, then they need to know that, you're going to be respectful, but then you have to have your assertion and support your assertion and be respectful about it and understand that that's the nature of the interaction in the course. That's what you expect. So you need to be explicit about that. You kind of have to ramp up to that kind of a thing, right? You can't just all of a sudden throw everybody into an interaction and then expect that they're gonna, go at it and do it well. So you kind of have to scaffold them into it and give them corrective feedback and model stuff and give them examples. It's nice if you have an example discussion for the students to look at so that they can see examples of high quality interactions and how you can effectively refute somebody or effectively, add another dimension to a conversation or whatever. The sense of trust is really important. You also want to model acknowledging points of view. So if you were an example of that would be in a response, in a discussion response or in some sort of interaction response saying, I hear what you're saying, I understand what you're saying, I heard what you said in the previous discussion, or this is what you did say in the previous discussion. So somehow acknowledging something that was previously said, that helps to establish group cohesion. Discussion in and of itself, just discussion by itself, helps to establish a sense of group cohesion because you're sitting there asynchronously, of course. You've been given some sort of a prompt, or you have some sort of a piece of content that you're interacting over, and some question or some issue or dilemma or case or whatever. And so that puts you all on the same side of the table, looking at whatever the content is and having some reaction to it. And so that in and of itself can create a sense of group cohesion, all being faced with the same question. Some elements that may seem small, but that are equally important, I think, in supporting that sense of cohesion would be using salutations, using first names to address people individually, and using inclusive pronouns. So, you know what I mean? So that you really are making an effort to make it we, or to us, to make it us, or identifying individual people. I use peer evaluation, which in discussion, in class discussions, so that students can really focus on adding this element of giving feedback to their classmates, which also ends up having this effect on feeling like a group. So whenever they respond to somebody, they have to start with a peer evaluation of that prior post that they're responding to, and then they have to self-assess. So at the end of their own post, they have to give themselves a score based on a rubric that I have created for them. So they evaluate the person they're responding to at the beginning of their response, and then they self-evaluate themselves. And this also, I think, helps them to get a sense that they're in this together, they're helping each other, giving them each other feedback, and then assessing themselves. And there's a bunch of presences that are kind of mixed up in that, but I think that helps to build a sense of community, a sense of group cohesion, a sense of trust, and definitely they get a sense of the socialness of the environment, because they are getting to know each other in the process of all of these things all mixed together.